Hey guys, Coach Chris here, back with another video. Alright, round 2 of this tournament that I played in this weekend. Hope you've had a chance to prepare your hearts and minds for the just atrocious game that you're about to see. Don't have time to cover every bad decision that I made in this game, so let's just start at the beginning and see how much ground we can cover. So, as is my tradition, the week or two before the tournament, had a complete panic attack about my openings, and so just changed all of them at the last minute, which meant for the last 2 weeks I've just been looking at openings and haven't really been working on tactics, which is dumb. Other than getting kicked in the head by a horse, changing your openings all the time is probably the worst thing you can do if you're trying to get better at chess. So find a principled opening and stick with it. For this tournament, I prepared the Caro-Kann, not particularly principled because, E5 and C5 are the moves that fight for the maximum, fight for the center the most. C6 is a bit more passive. My opponent just plays the most natural moves in the world. Again, something I've never quite loved about the Caro-Kann is that you play c6 to prepare d5, and then if white plays the most natural move in the world, knight c3, reinforcing the center, then the pawn that you just spent a move protecting in the center as your strong point, you immediately trade away. White recaptures, and the traditional main line of the Caro is bishop f5. Lately, knight f6 has been the main move, and then the idea after the capture, this is sort of the modern main line, is to play bishop d6, castles, rook e8, and go from there. Instead, what I prepared for this tournament was g takes f6, and the idea is to castle long and try to use the g-file and attack on white's king. White plays just the most natural moves in the world and shows that this is just nonsense. If you play principled, aggressive chess in the middle of the board, then it doesn't matter if you are outrated by 300 rating points, you will still crush your opponent. And that's what happened to me in this game, although we'll see that, we'll see that I wasn't lost the whole game, but I was already mentally beaten at a certain point and could no longer really see the objective truth on the chessboard, but we'll get to that. So again, white just plays the most natural moves in the world. I'm trying to get ready to long castle. So just developing my pieces, or trying to. And here, you can't look at this position and think, yeah, this is reasonable for black. White has the center. White's already castled with 2 pieces developed. This bishop isn't really doing anything. This position is just awesome for white, and white didn't even have to think to blitz out these moves. Another huge mistake I made in this tournament that is partly due to not feeling comfortable with my opening prep is that I burned so much time in rounds 2 and 3, but mostly here in this second round. I just burned so much time because I didn't feel comfortable in the positions, because I didn't have natural, logical, principled moves to play, and that did contribute to my poor play. But again, it all comes back to problems tend to compound in chess when you're not playing principled moves. So trying to get castled queenside, but c5, a nice tempo gainer. I basically have to put my bishop back on c7, and now b4. And so any dreams I had of castling queenside and launching a kingside attack are over, because white is so much faster in that opposite side castling situation that I'd just get blown off the board. So I castle kingside behind my shattered pawn structure, always a great choice. Bishop h6, rook e8. Again, white's play is so simple and natural. You don't even have to think, like, oh, I can get a tempo move, I can develop a piece with tempo that also creates a very dangerous mating net around the king. Like, yeah, that's a 1 second move, just play it. You don't have to think, play the move, hit the clock, and let your opponent think. Rook e8, queen d3, and constantly hanging over my head all game is the thought of, if white can ever play queen to g3, then I'm in trouble. I need to be able to have the bishop g6 resource. I need the bishop to the dark squared bishop to constantly monitor the g3 square. My pieces can never do anything active. I'm reacting the whole game. After queen d3, I decided to try to break out with e5, trying to make sense of this rook on e8 by trying to blow up open the center and get active, because I'm just so passive at this point. And my opponent just blitzed everything out the whole game. Opponent plays queen b3. So stepping out of any potential forks, threatening this battery on the diagonal, which is very uncomfortable. And as it stands right now, there could be some discoveries with the knight. My bishop would be hanging, and that could potentially free up the g3 square to come deliver checkmate. So extremely unpleasant position for me to play. And so here I thought about taking the pawn on d4 and opening up the rook. What I ended up doing was playing e4, and my opponent blitzes out knight g5. A huge blunder, completely losing move, but it was played quickly and confidently. It's very aggressive, and it is so much harder in chess to defend than it is to attack. It's just something that non-titled players are very poor at, defending. This game really shows that the initiative counts for so much, especially so in rapid games. Remember, this is a game in 25 with a 5-second delay, and I'm already way down on time. And so, even though this move is an objective blunder, white isn't playing a computer, he's playing dumb me. And here I made another just horrible psychological blunder. I saw and looked at bishop g6 with the idea of, hey bud, this knight is trapped and you have no attack. My chess sin that I committed in this position was being worried about some kind of abstract white attack, not based on concrete calculation, but just based on some general irrational fear. And you just can't play chess that way. You have to calculate. If you don't see it, if you don't see why your opponent is winning, and you think you have a move that refutes your opponent's play, you have to trust yourself, you have to trust your calculation, and you have to go for it. Black is just completely winning in this position, but I was afraid of some abstract ideas connected to h4, sacking this knight, or f4, sacking this knight. None of that works, and it's not even particularly hard to see once you're no longer sitting at the board under time pressure. So I saw bishop g6 and didn't go for it. I thought simpler would be to just take that knight. And still, the engine says black is completely winning. I felt like I was dead lost. it just shows you how important the initiative is, how important being comfortable with your openings is, and how you just have to be aggressive. You have to play to win. You can't be playing not to lose. You have to try to dictate things to your opponent. And here, again, it's just so obvious once the engine points it out. But what exactly is white doing after rook e6? This bishop is trapped. Rook e6 blocks the queen and bishop, the queen's attack on f7. This is just game over. Black is easily winning here. There is no real attack. But again, so I didn't see this move at all. So this is just pure tactical weakness, not grinding my tactics enough, not being creative enough, not solving the problem at the chessboard. This was a very solvable problem that I just failed to solve. The bishop is trapped. We need to block the queen's attack on f7. And what I came up with instead was queen f6. And I'm not losing. The game's still even, but again, I felt completely lost. White plays, again, the very natural f4, trying to open up lines against the king. Here I actually made at least one good choice in the game, and I took, thinking that he can't really open up lines, he's just bluffing. There, I actually made a good choice and took. White brought the rook over, wanting to avoid queen takes d4 checks. And here, again, I'm under time pressure. I'm not calculating well at all. I obviously saw that queen and bishop are attacking f7. This bishop is still trapped, and so I just can't even explain how I missed rook e7. This just covers f7 easily and reliably. Then I can address the bishop. As you can see, black is completely winning. But psychologically, I was already lost. I had just decided based on feeling and not based on the position on the board that I was lost. And so in an effort to try to simplify, not trying to find wins, but just trying to simplify, I went queen takes h6, white captured, took my knight, I took his bishop, took my bishop, and I played f3. And I thought, okay, maybe this is savable now. Opponent went rook f2, and again, now in this position, black is just completely crushing. Yes, I was in time pressure, but still, tactics over everything. Again, you just have to keep grinding your tactics to improve. And I completely missed queen h4. Brilliant move. The idea is to prepare rook e7 in a future rook lift while still maintaining control over the e5 square. White always has checks on this square if the rook doesn't protect that square. And so really just completely brilliant move that I missed. You can go through those complications if you want to. I'm running out of time here, so I'll just finish up. The game concluded with me blundering, rook over, queen takes h6, white plays again the most natural move in the world, and here, really trying to prove that I have not been working on my tactics at all. I didn't even see that queen h6 stops the mate threat, and then we're just in a level endgame. I inexplicably took the rook, thinking I was dead lost, and then, for good measure, blundered the final rook. So, awful game. It was extremely important for me to analyze this game and learn from it, and I'll talk about my takeaways in a future video. Thanks for watching, and for God's sake, please grind the tactics.